Welcome to video 2 of assignment 1. This is an introduction video showing you some of the components that we'll be using within Revit. We've created 4 walls and inserted doors and windows and talked about some of the features within Revit. Let's take a look at establishing a floor, bringing in some of the components, and placing a roof, along with other additional tools that you can work with. So let's go ahead and close out of the 3D view by picking the red X here, and then we're going to maximize the level 1 view so that it's bigger in our screen by clicking on here the middle button, which maximizes this drawing. Now we're in the level 1 view. Rolling the wheel of my mouse I can zoom, holding the wheel of my mouse down I can pan. We talked about the 2D wheel here on the top right of your drawing screen, but if you drop here this small menu down, you'll see there are other zoom commands. If you click on this icon and see that there's a magnifying glass at the end of your pointer, you can hold your left mouse button down and drag your mouse across a small area and let go and zoom to that area. Be careful about using undo here in Revit, because it's not the same as AutoCAD where you are undoing views. When you press undo, you're actually undoing the work and not the views. If we go to the Home tab and under Component, you can pick Place a Component, and what you'll see in the Properties is the list of all the different components that are already loaded into this file. These are called families, and they're similar to what we would call blocks in AutoCAD, and they can be loaded into the Revit file by picking Load Family in the ribbon here and looking in the US Imperial folder for the different families that you'd like to load. We've got an entire assignment dedicated to looking at loading families and creating customized families. So as an introduction, they are here. You can load different families by double clicking on the folder, like furniture, finding the chair or table that you'd like to load, double click, and now it's at the end of your pointer and it's loaded into this file so that you can use it as you're working with the drawing. Once again, before you place it, you can use the space bar to rotate it into place, and then left click to place the component. Use your escape key or the modify button at the top left to cancel the command. So you can practice with that if you'd like. This is a basic introduction video. Now let's take a look at establishing a floor. In the level 1 view, we can go to Floor in the Home tab and pick Floor here. In the ribbon, there's an area called Draw, and by default this icon here is called Pick Walls. You're sketching the outline of the floor, and one way to sketch the outline of the floor is to pick the walls. Another way would be to pick lines, and then as you can see, you can become more creative with drawing a customized floor around a stairwell or on a balcony. If you rest your pointer over the top of some of these icons, you'll be able to watch a small video that shows you additional information. So with the Pick Walls icon highlighted, I'll go ahead and pick my 4 walls. The first wall that you pick is going to establish the direction of the structure. That's what these 2 lines are. But for now, we won't need to be concerned with that because we're creating here a basic floor, generic 12-inch. Once you've selected all 4 of your walls, you can pick the green check mark and you've established a floor. If you'd like to see that floor, you can go to the 3D view by opening up the project browser 3D views and double clicking on 3D to open that view. You can see here when you get close to the edge that the floor is highlighted. Now we're ready to place the roof. We'll go to the level 2 view, double click on level 2 so that we can put the roof at the top of the wall, which we drew from level 1 to level 2. Now we can pick roof and roof by footprint. We will be going through additional nested options for all of these tools as we start to work with our assignments. Pick roof by footprint, and then similar to how we placed the floor, we have these draw features for the roof. Now with the pick walls icon selected, we'll change our overhang here in the options bar to 1 foot, and that would be how much the roof is going to extend from the wall at the end of the roof slope. And then with the check mark in define slopes, we'll go close to the top wall and see that there's a dashed line that represents the overhang, and then left click, and the triangle shows me that it is going to be a sloped roof coming down towards this wall. I'll also select here the outside portion of the bottom wall, and then I'm going to take the check mark out of define slope in the options bar so that when I pick here on the left and right side towards the outer part of the wall, I can create a roof that's going to be a gable end or one that goes straight up without a slope. And also pick here this side. Notice that there are only triangles on the top wall and the bottom wall because I left the check mark in define slope. Now I can pick the green check mark, and at first in the second level the cut plane is going to cut off the view of the roof. We'll take a look at how to adjust this in one of the assignments. So we'll go to the project browser and double click on the 3D view. Click in space and you'll see your roof, but we still need to attach these walls to it. So I'll go ahead and select this wall at the gable or straight wall end, and when I select the wall, there's an option in the ribbon that says attach top base. I'll go ahead and select that icon and then select the roof, and the wall that was selected should extend up to the bottom of the roof. You can click in space, and now to get to the back side, to do the other side, you have a couple of options. You can hold your shift key down and press the wheel of your mouse. Let's try that. Hold your shift key down, press the wheel of your mouse, and move your mouse, and you'll see that you can orbit around to the other side. But notice here that there's a cube. It's called a view cube. It's similar to what we would use in AutoCAD, where you can actually click on this cube and look at different views. I clicked on this northwest isometric right in the corner of the view, but you can also hold your left mouse button down on that ring that would be like the compass that has the symbols northeast, south, and west to orbit to the other side as an option. There are other tools that we can use to orbit around the model, but holding your shift key down and pressing the wheel of your mouse is kind of a quick way of viewing your model. So now you can select this wall, pick attach top base, select the roof. The wall extends to the bottom side of the roof. Click in space, and with your shift key held down and the wheel of your mouse held down, you can see that we created a floor, a roof, walls, and windows. Also at the bottom left, we have tools that are in the view control bar that establish the scale, and some of the detail, whether it's coarse, medium, and fine. We'll take a look at this when we look at walls. And an icon that we can use to change the graphic display. We'll go ahead and click on the icon that looks like a small box and pick Shaded. Before we look at the sun path, we can establish a different location for our project by going to the Manage tab, and in the Manage tab we'll pick Location. The default location is in Boston. You can hold your left mouse button down on the corner of this dialog box to make it bigger and see that we are linked to the Google map, where we can type in a new location. If we'd like to use Auburn Hills, Michigan, we can go ahead and pick search and it'll find Auburn Hills, Michigan. You can even hold your left mouse button down on the small triangular pin part of this marker and drag and drop it to your new location. Once you've established the project location, we can go ahead and pick OK, and then we'll pick the sun path icon and pick sun path on. We'll pick use the specified project location, date, and time. You'll see the sun path at a specific date and time, and then the next icon next to the sun are the shadows. The shadows are off right now, so go ahead and click on that little icon. It looks like a ball with the shadow underneath it, and it'll turn the shadows on. You can change the date and drag this ball at different locations to see the different shadows. Holding your left mouse button down to drag this ball into different locations. We'll be taking a look at this with more detail as we work with our assignments. Let's go ahead and save the file and post it to Blackboard as assignment 1 yourname.rvt.